Hello, this is Fred Hopkins from Online Marketing Dojo, and just wanted to do another freebie video for you. In this case, I'm going to show you how you can get your videos showing up on your website in the Google search results. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I did a search for dog Christmas costumes, which is a keyword that I'm ranking for one of my sites. And let me just scroll down here so you can see what I'm talking about. And you'll see that there is two video listings. One is my video that's on YouTube, and the other is the same video on my website. So I get a whole thumbnail, but it goes to my website versus just going to YouTube. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. And before I kind of get started with this, if you find this video helpful at all at any time, go ahead and enter your name and email address on the form so you can get updated whenever I do a new one of these. So let's move right along here and I'll get right to showing you how to do this. Now, I am going to be using WordPress as an example here because pretty much every one of my sites is on WordPress. So if you do not have WordPress, this won't apply for you. Um, so let's get straight to it. The plugin that I use is called FLV Embed, and you can go straight to the WordPress plugin directory and type that in, or you can do a search right within your WordPress site and get this plugin. Again, FLV Embed. Now, one of the things that I mentioned with this is that this is an old plugin and has not been updated in a while, which in and of itself could potentially pose, any kind of issue with compatibility with other plugins on your site. I personally have not had it have any negative effects with any other plugins or compatibility. And also, obviously with it not being updated in a while, there's always that security risk. So know that going into it. But if you can get past that and you still want to try it out, again, I use it a lot and haven't had any problems, but that doesn't mean that you will. But it's free, so it might be worth to try for you. So FLV embed. Now, the other thing about it, because it's an old video, I'm sorry, it's an old plugin, is that just as the name implies, it only works with FLV formatted video files. So if you do not have that, one of the things you want to check to see is if your video editing software will allow you to create an FLV file, and if it does, then you're set. If it does not, and maybe it only does MP4s or MOVs or WMVs, anything but FLV, then you want to take the output, take your file that you got after you rendered everything down, and you want to go to a site called freefileconvert.com. Now, what this does, just as it would suspect, you can upload a file to their system and it will convert it from one format over to another format. So if you uploaded your MP4 video file, it will pop up the different options that you have here. It's not going to have anything right now because I don't have a file, but it will give you the option to select a FLV. And once you do that, you click convert and it will convert everything right in front of your face. So within, a minute or two, depending on how large your file is, you'll be able to download that file straight away to your computer. Now, one of the things I'm going to assume here is that you know how to install a plugin. So I'm not going to walk through all of that. I'll just show you, but I'm not going to really explain it. So let me just kind of install it on this site here so that I can show you how to get everything set up. Because there's a couple things that you need to do before it's going to be ready to go. All right, so now that I have it installed, let me go over to settings. And now you see the option for FLV embed. Oops, I double click that. And let me pull the window over here so you can see everything that I'm seeing. So you see an option that says FLV embed. Now I had this installed on this site before, so it's giving the video site map option. But when you first install it, that won't be there. And so you'll need to check this first box here that says enable sitemap feature and automatic blah blah blah. And just as it sounds, that will activate the sitemap ability. Now all this other stuff I pretty much leave alone. There's nothing that I really care about with this, so I'm just going to move on down the line and click the Save Changes button now that I have that. Now, if you want to, this is if you're displaying the video on your site, these are the different options for this video player itself. You can play around with that to your heart's content, but that won't be the focus of this video. So after you save the changes to enable the sitemap feature, you probably need to refresh the page, and then at that point you'll get this video sitemap option to pop up here. And then once you're there, a couple things I want to point out is that it will automatically create the feed on this URL. So it'd be your website self/videofeed.xml. Now, if you want, you can change it if you want. I've always left it the default because I haven't had any need to do anything but that. Now, one thing that you'll see difference is when you're first starting off, the first and the last box of this section will be unchecked. You just want to make sure those are both checked because you want to allow Google to embed your video. You know, it's saying in the search results on Google on the old video.google.com site. So just check that. It will allow you to embed it on Google, period. Because obviously video.google.com is pretty defunct these days. And after you check those two, just go ahead and click Save Changes. And now, once that's all in there and done, then you can just go ahead and go to a post, and there's a certain code that you're going to put into your post to be able to have a video show up and for it to create the sitemap. And while this is pulling up here, when once you save your post after you get this code here, I'm going to show you it will automatically create the sitemap for you. So there's nothing else that you have to do except for make sure you put this code in here correctly. So in this case, this is what it looks like. And I'll have this beneath the video so you can copy it and paste it and use it. Because it's not directly in the documentation for the plugin file itself, and I had to get it from the plugin creator's website. So this is in essence what it is. You just have an open bracket, FLV, colon, the full URL to the video. And again, the full URL, not a relative location, a full URL. So as an example, and again, this has to be an FLV file. If it's not an FLV, it won't work. Now, after you enter that part, then you want to enter the size of the video that you created. So if you did a basic widescreen, maybe it's a 640 by 360. And again, that's going to depend on what you want to do there. And then you close it off with a closed bracket. Now, I'm not going to save this here, but as soon as you go ahead and save this, behind the scenes, the plugin will recognize this code. It will create a sitemap entry for you automatically, and it will ping Google once that sitemap is completed. Now, the other thing that I just kind of want to point out to you, because again, this is an old plugin, and so there's certain things that you have to do to make sure you get the most bang for the buck out of it. You want to make sure that you're putting the video after a little bit of text, because without getting too technical, it will automatically pull some of the text above it to come up with the description of what's going on in that post. So like say for instance here, this description is coming from the paragraph that's above the video there. And sometimes Google will they'll also just pull your meta description tag as well. So assuming if you're using some kind of SEO plugin that you can make those changes, it may pull it from there as well. And that's the main thing that I want to show you. Oh yeah, one more thing here. This is what, if you were to go straight to that video feed, that XML file that it creates for you, this is what it's going to look like. And if you look at the source, you'll see all the little code that was created automatically. So it has all the location and the content information and the video thumbnail, so on and so forth. Now, this plugin does a little bit more than what I'm mentioning here. You can have custom thumbnails showing up, so on and so forth. But again, you can kind of play around with this, as this video is just meant to show you the basics to get your video showing up on the search engines attached to your own site. Because going back to that example I showed you earlier, I didn't do a custom thumbnail here. It just pulled one out the video. So again, you don't really have to worry about that unless you want to have a message or a specific image there. So that is it for now. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And if it was, please put your name and email address in the form over to the right if you want to be able to be notified whenever I have a new freebie. And that is it for now. Leave comments below if you have questions or comments or anything like that. Let me know what's on your mind. So that is it for now. Thanks for stopping by, and sign up to get some more freebies here.